Ladies, listen up. We are days away from Valentine's Day, and I know many of you are wondering, will he surprise me? Will he make it special? But here's the truth. Waiting and hoping won't get you what you want. You have to create the experience. You have to influence the outcome. So let me show you the secret formula that makes relationships thrive, because when you shift your energy, deepen your connection, and take the right action, he won't just surprise you, he'll blow your mind. Energy is everything. If you want to experience a shift in your relationship before this Valentine's Day, it starts with you. Many people sit back and wait for their partner to do something amazing, but relationships don't work that way. You are either creating momentum or killing it. Think about the moments in your life when you felt the most loved, the most connected, the most excited. What was different? It wasn't just what the other person did. It was the energy you brought to the relationship. Your emotions, your mindset, your presence, these things create the foundation of what you experience with your partner. If you are carrying stress, resentment, or disappointment, even subtly, that energy affects how your partner interacts with you. We all give off signals through our words, our tone, our body language, and even our silence. And here's the truth. People respond to the energy we put out. If you want him to step up, to make an effort, to surprise you, you must first shift your own state. One of the biggest mistakes people make in relationships is waiting for the other person to act first. They think, if he does something nice, then I'll feel appreciated. But that's not how great relationships work. When you decide to feel appreciated, to focus on love instead of lack, you naturally inspire the other person to give more. This is because energy is contagious. When you show up feeling grateful, excited, and confident in your relationship, your partner feels that energy and responds to it. So how do you shift your energy in a way that creates results? It starts with training your mind to focus on what's good instead of what's missing. The brain is wired to seek problems. It's designed to keep us safe, which means it's constantly scanning for threats, for things that are wrong. But in a relationship, this survival instinct can work against us. If you only focus on what your partner isn't doing, you'll miss all the ways he is showing up for you. And if you don't acknowledge those things, why would he feel motivated to do more? Before this Valentine's Day, I want you to take control of your focus. Every morning, take out a notebook or open a note on your phone and write down 3 things you appreciate about him. It could be something big, like how hard he works, or something small like the way he makes you laugh. The point is to train your brain to recognize what's already good in your relationship. Because when you focus on what's good, you naturally communicate in a way that makes him want to do more. The next part of shifting your energy is changing your physical state. Emotion is created through motion. If you feel stuck emotionally, chances are you're stuck physically too. If you're slouched on the couch, scrolling through social media, comparing your relationship to someone else's, of course you're going to feel bad. But if you get up, put on your favorite music, move your body, and intentionally create a different emotional state, everything changes. Before you interact with your partner, ask yourself, what energy am I bringing? If you're feeling tense, stressed, or disconnected, take a moment to reset, breathe deeply, smile, remember why you love him. When you approach your partner with warmth and positivity, it shifts the entire dynamic of your relationship. Another way to elevate your energy is through visualization. Close your eyes and imagine the best version of your relationship. Imagine feeling deeply connected, appreciated, and loved. Picture him looking at you with admiration, surprising you with something meaningful. Feel it as if it's already happening. This isn't just wishful thinking. This is training your brain to expect and attract what you want. When you hold this vision in your mind, you start showing up differently. You speak with more love. You carry yourself with confidence, and you radiate the kind of energy that makes him want to surprise you. The final and most powerful part of shifting your energy is understanding that your emotions are your responsibility. Too many people believe that their happiness depends on what their partner does or doesn't do. But real love, the kind that lasts, comes from a place of personal power. When you take ownership of your happiness, your partner feels the difference. He no longer feels pressure or expectation. He feels inspired. For this Valentine's Day, make a commitment to yourself. Decide that you are going to bring the best energy to your relationship. Decide that you are going to focus on love instead of lack. Decide that you are going to appreciate instead of complain. Because when you make this shift, your entire relationship transforms. This isn't just about Valentine's Day. It's about creating a relationship where love, excitement, appreciation are the norm, not just once a year, but every single day. And when you do that, you won't have to hope for a surprise. It will happen naturally because love is fueled by the energy you bring to it. Love is not just about attraction or chemistry. It's about understanding at a deep emotional level. Many relationships struggle, not because love isn't there, but because the connection weakens over time. This happens when partners stop seeing each other clearly, when they assume instead of truly listening, and when they fail to meet each other's emotional needs in a way that makes the other person feel valued. If you want your partner to step up, to surprise you, to make you feel special, the first step is understanding him at a deeper level than ever before. Every person has a unique way they experience love. What makes you feel love might not be the same thing that makes him feel love. This is where many people go wrong. They express love the way they want to receive it instead of the way their partner needs it. You might think grand romantic gestures are the key, but what if for him, love is about feeling admired? What if he doesn't need a big production, but rather to feel that he is winning with you? Men and women often connect differently, not because one is right or wrong, but because they have different emotional wiring. Many women feel connected through deep conversations, words of affirmation, and emotional presence. They want to be seen, heard, and cherished. For men, connection often comes from feeling like they are successful in the relationship. They want to feel respected, appreciated, and like they are providing something meaningful. This isn't about outdated gender roles. It's about psychology. When a man feels like he is winning with you and he feels like he makes you happy, he naturally wants to do more. But if he constantly feels like he's falling short, like he's never good enough, like nothing he does is ever fully appreciated, he will withdraw. Not because he doesn't care, but because no one wants to play a game they feel like they're losing. Before Valentine's Day, take a moment to ask yourself, does he feel successful in loving you? When was the last time you made him feel like a hero? When was the last time you acknowledged not just what he does, but who he is? A man doesn't just want to be loved, he wants to be admired by the woman he loves. That admiration is fuel. It's what drives him to show up for you in ways that make you feel special. One of the most powerful ways to deepen your connection is to become an expert in what makes him feel valued. This isn't about lowering your standards or ignoring your own needs. It's about leading with understanding. When you meet someone where they are, you create a space for them to step up. If your relationship has felt stagnant, if you feel like you're not getting the effort you want, the first step isn't demanding more. It's creating a dynamic where giving more feels natural. Start by paying attention. What are the small things that light him up? What does he get excited about? What does he talk about with passion? What are the moments when he feels the most alive? When you take the time to understand what truly matters to him, you can connect in a way that goes beyond surface level interactions. One of the biggest misconceptions in relationships is that men aren't emotional. That's not true. Men are deeply emotional. They just often express it differently. While women may process their emotions through words and connection, many men express love through action. If he fixes something for you, if he helps you in a practical way, if he takes care of things behind the scenes, these might be his ways of saying, I love you. But if those efforts aren't recognized, he may feel like what he's doing isn't enough. When a man feels unappreciated, he doesn't fight harder, he pulls away. So what does this mean for you? It means shifting the focus from what you're not getting to what you can give in terms of understanding. When you truly see your partner, when you make an effort to recognize his efforts, he will naturally feel more connected to you. That connection is what drives him to want to surprise you, to step up, to make you feel special, not out of obligation, but because he wants to. There is a simple exercise that can transform your relationship before this Valentine's Day. Over the next few days, make it a point to express genuine appreciation for something specific he does. Not a generic thank you, but something meaningful. Instead of saying, I appreciate you, say, I love how you always make sure I'm safe when we go out. I feel so protected with you. Instead of saying, thanks for helping, say, the way you handled that situation was incredible. I love how strong you are. These little moments of recognition build a foundation of deep connection. Another way to create this shift is by listening differently. The next time he shares something with you, instead of responding immediately with your own thoughts, pause, give him space, ask a follow-up question, show genuine curiosity. When a man feels like his thoughts, feelings, and dreams matter to you, he feels safe with you. And when a man feels safe, he opens up. He invests more. He wants to make you happy. The truth is, love isn't just about how much someone does for you. It's about how deeply you understand each other. The best relationships aren't the ones where surprises happen out of nowhere. They're the ones where both people are so connected that showing up for each other becomes second nature. If you want him to step up this Valentine's Day, don't wait. Start today by deepening your connection, by seeing him in a way that no one else does. When you do that, you won't just get a surprise, you'll get a relationship that feels fulfilling, exciting, and strong every single day. When we face trials, we must remind ourselves that our perspective is limited. What seems like failure today may be the foundation for tomorrow's success. What appears to be loss may, in time, prove to be a gain. The suffering we endure now may be preparing us for blessings we cannot yet imagine. Our task is not to understand every twist and turn of the journey, but to trust the one who guides it. He sees the whole picture. He knows where the road leads. And in the end, we will come to see that even our most difficult trials were in his hands, part of a masterpiece far greater than we ever dreamed. Faith is often spoken of in gentle terms, a source of comfort, a warm assurance that all will be well. But true faith is not merely a feeling of peace in favorable circumstances. It is a deliberate act of trust, even when the evidence before us suggests otherwise. It is believing in the goodness of God when life appears harsh, in his presence when we feel abandoned, and in his plan when everything seems to be falling apart. Faith is not tested when the path is clear and the road is smooth. It is tested in the moments of darkness, when we stand at the edge of uncertainty and must decide whether to trust or to fear. Trusting in divine providence does not mean we will always understand what is happening. It does not mean we will always see the purpose behind our suffering or grasp the reasons for our struggles. What it does mean is that we accept, even in confusion, that there is a plan beyond what we can see. It means acknowledging that our wisdom is limited, but God's is infinite. We often desire immediate answers, clarity, and resolution, but faith calls us to rest in the knowledge that even when we do not have the answers, God does. There are many times in life when we stand at the edge of what seems like disaster. A door closes, an opportunity slips away, a painful loss shakes us to our core. In these moments, we are tempted to believe that God has forgotten us, or that he has turned his face away. But divine providence does not mean that God only leads us through places of comfort. Often he takes us through difficulty to prepare us for something far greater. Abraham was called to leave his homeland without knowing where he was going. He was asked to trust in a promise that seemed impossible, that he would have descendants as numerous as the stars, even when he and his wife were well past the age of childbearing. From a human perspective, it was unreasonable to believe such a thing. But faith does not rely on human reasoning. It rests on the certainty of God's character. Abraham chose to believe not because he had evidence, but because he trusted the one who had spoken the promise. Trusting in God's providence means walking forward even when we cannot see the road ahead. It means surrendering our plans and expectations, knowing that He is guiding us towards something better, even if the journey is difficult. It is easy to have faith when all is going well, but the real test comes when life is unpredictable, when prayers seem unanswered, when suffering lingers longer than we expected. There is a great temptation to take control when things do not go as planned. We grasp at solutions, try to force outcomes, and resist the waiting seasons. But faith requires us to let go. It asks us to believe that God's timing is better than ours, that His ways are higher, and that His provision, though sometimes delayed in our eyes, is always perfect. The Israelites, after being freed from slavery in Egypt, were led into the wilderness. They expected immediate entry into the promised land, yet they found themselves wandering for 40 years. In their impatience, they doubted, complained, and even longed to return to Egypt. They could not understand that what seemed like a delay was actually a time of preparation. They were being refined, taught, and made ready to enter the land that had been promised. So it is with us. We too find ourselves in seasons of waiting, of uncertainty, of hardship. And we too are tempted to believe that if things are not happening according to our timeline, they are not happening at all. But God is not inactive. Even in the waiting, He is working. Even in the struggle, He is leading. If we could see the full picture, we would understand that the delays are not rejections, but redirections. The hardships are not meaningless, but purposeful. Faith is not simply believing that God exists. It is trusting that He is good even when life does not feel good. It is holding on when circumstances urge us to let go. It is saying, I do not understand, but I trust You. This is the kind of faith that carries us through trials, that keeps us anchored when the storm rages, that allows us to move forward when the way is unclear. There is no safer place to be than in the hands of God, even if that place is not where we expect it to be. The story of our lives is not random. Each step, each struggle, each unexpected turn is part of a greater plan. We may not understand it now, but one day we will look back and see that through every twist and turn, God was leading us exactly where we needed to be. Faith is not seeing, it is trusting. Faith, and those who trust in Him will never be put to shame. It is a common assumption that blessings must come in the form of ease, prosperity, and success. We equate God's favor with open doors, smooth paths, and immediate rewards. But life often unfolds in a way that contradicts this expectation. Instead of clear direction, we face uncertainty. Instead of ease, we encounter struggle. Instead of immediate answers, we are met with silence. In these moments, it is tempting to believe that something has gone wrong, that we have been forgotten, or that our suffering is meaningless. Yet, if we look closely, we will see that many of God's greatest blessings come in ways we least expect. Difficulty, though painful, is often the very thing that prepares us for something greater. We pray for strength, yet strength is built through trials. We desire wisdom, yet wisdom is gained through experience, often in moments of failure or hardship. We seek deeper faith, yet faith grows in seasons of uncertainty. What we perceive as obstacles may in fact be opportunities in disguise. What we view as losses may be the foundation upon which something greater is being built. There are countless examples of this truth throughout history and Scripture. Joseph, betrayed by his own brothers and sold into slavery, could not have imagined that his suffering would position him to become the second most powerful man in Egypt. When he was thrown into prison for a crime he did not commit, it seemed as though his life had taken a tragic turn. Yet through this hardship, he was placed in a position to interpret Pharaoh's dream, an event that ultimately led to his rise in power and the salvation of many. Looking back, Joseph himself recognized this truth when he told his brothers, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Genesis 50:20. What seemed like misfortune was, in reality, a divine setup for something far greater. Consider also the Israelites. When they were trapped between the Red Sea and the approaching Egyptian army, it appeared as though they were doomed. They saw only an impossible situation, but God saw an opportunity for deliverance. What seemed to be a dead end became the stage for one of the greatest miracles in history. The very obstacle in their path, the sea, was the means by which God demonstrated his power and secured their freedom. We often pray for God to remove our struggles, yet it is within these struggles that we find our deepest blessings. A person who has never faced difficulty cannot truly appreciate victory. A heart that has never been broken cannot fully understand compassion. A life without trials may seem desirable, but it would be a shallow existence, lacking depth, growth, and true dependence on God. Even in our personal lives, we can often see in hindsight that some of our greatest challenges led to unexpected blessings. Perhaps the job we desperately wanted but did not get pushed us toward an even better opportunity. Perhaps the relationship that ended, though painful at the time, ultimately freed us to find something more fulfilling. Perhaps a season of loneliness or uncertainty forced us to develop a deeper relationship with God, one that would sustain us far beyond what human relationships ever could. Pain has a way of stripping away our illusions, revealing what truly matters. It humbles us, reminds us of our dependence on God, and reshapes our priorities. It is in these moments of struggle that we often grow the most, even if we do not realize it at the time. Many of God's greatest blessings do not come in the form of material wealth or immediate success, but in the transformation that hardship brings. One of the clearest examples of a blessing disguised as suffering is found in the life of Jesus himself. His crucifixion was, to all appearances, a tragedy. His followers mourned, believing that all hope was lost. And yet, what seemed like the greatest defeat was actually the greatest victory. The suffering of the cross led to the resurrection, the salvation of mankind, and the fulfillment of God's plan. The blessing of redemption came through suffering, proving that God's ways are often beyond our understanding. Trusting that blessings can come through hardship requires faith. It demands that we look beyond our immediate circumstances and believe that God is at work, even when we cannot see it. This is not always easy, but it is essential. The very things we wish to avoid, the disappointments, the delays, the struggles, may be the very things shaping us into who we are meant to be. God does not waste pain. Every trial serves a purpose. Every closed door is a redirection. Every hardship carries within it the potential for something greater. If we can learn to see our struggles not as obstacles, but as opportunities, we will come to realize that even in our darkest moments, God is working for our good. The blessings may not come in the way we expect, but they will come. And when they do, we will see that the journey, with all its difficulties, was worth it.